Welcome back to the Mentored Show, which offers quick lessons packaged within minisodes for busy founders and startup leaders like you. I am Adel, and I'm being mentored live and unscripted by Ed, who's built, sold, turned around, and scaled startups all the way to the New York Stock Exchange. He's based in the US, a developed economy, and I'm based in Dubai, a hub within an emerging economy, and we compare notes. This is real talk, no scripts, no theory. Let's get into it.
There are many of these cases as well where people, especially, I think the US culture is a bit different, is a bit more direct. But when it comes to emerging markets, the Arab region, and I think it's mainly the emerging markets, people usually conceal their intentions because they're naturally patient, right? They still have those tribal tendencies of being patient, concealing their thoughts, Godfather style, you know? So I think finding out through early due diligence, it is possible, but if I want to be able to minimize being surprised or sidelined by concealed bad intentions, are there any best practices, anything we could do?
Absolutely. And I think that this is where establishing goals, business goals, and KPIs are critical. And you do that for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. What is it that you expect to have done? Very explicit. And it could be something like, let's get the accounting consolidated on one set of books in the next 60 days. That's a goal, right? And under that goal, you can have a set of key performance indicators. Who is in the accounting department? Which accounting system are we going to adopt as the standard? When will we have a combined general ledger? When will we consolidate accounts payable and the vendor list? So we don't have multiple vendors doing the same thing. You can get very specific in the goals and KPIs and use that to measure the effectiveness of the individuals that are now part of your new team. And if they're not performing, why would you keep them around? Right? Those goals and KPIs are not negotiable. They are, in fact, necessary if you're going to bring two companies together.
Let's say I'm a founder of a company, we're co-founders, we're a group, let's say we're team C. We got acquired by a bigger company because they want to enter our market. They're team A. Now, as team C, we were promised that there will be cash injection because we have a vision for our market, and by them coming on, help us expand, increase the number of products. But none of that happened. They neglected us. They don't have enough cash flow to fund us. And we're suddenly stuck because we can't sell the company, we can't raise more funds, and we're sitting in between. The company is losing and will eventually get fired and blamed because we don't know what their intentions were. Either it's the wrong decision, the wrong time for them, or they actually had the intention to kill us, take us out of business so that they can come in themselves with their own team, with their own products. I've heard many of these scenarios taking place. So what would a founder do in such a situation?
So this is where I think in the very, very beginning of being approached by a larger organization to be bought out, if ever there was a time to invest in good advisory capability, it's at the beginning. Those advisors could be an M&A advisor. It absolutely is an attorney, a good commercial merger and acquisition legal firm. And you have to establish up front, are you being fully consumed by the new company? You're being made an integral part of the business? Or are you being left alone as a standalone entity to continue operating the way you normally would operate, but now you have a new owner? And it's at that point where if money is being promised to be injected into your business, my first question, and you should make this a part of the purchase contract, is how much and when. Right? And if the how much is not clear and the when is not clear, why would you sell your company? That would be my open-ended question to the target. I also think that there needs to be a period of remedy. So if the promise is made, but the date gets missed, or the date gets honored, but the amount of money invested is less than what was originally intended, there has to be a period of time, and I would say that's 30 days, to fix that breach, because that is a breach of the sale, right? So I would tell any entrepreneur, get the terms of the transaction tightly documented with dates, amounts, roles and responsibilities. And if those get breached, there's a period of cure, 30 days. I have seen some transactions become unwound because of that breach, where I can actually get my company back without paying anything, right? Or I've actually seen founders who sell their company, they serve out a certain consulting contract, 2 years is pretty typical, and then they leave. They go off and they're going to do something different. And maybe a year later, their company, which is now an operating subsidiary of a larger organization, is failing. And they can actually step back in and buy back their business for less than what it sold for, right? That does happen. But all of this is to say, if you're going to sell your company, invest in the proper advisory services that you can get to make sure that you contractually document all of the agreement of what that transaction looks like. And if it doesn't happen, what are the ramifications of that? And if the other party, if the acquiring party does not agree to that, should send off a lot of red flags for you as the target.
That's it for this minisode. Big thanks to Ed and to all of you for tuning in. If this sparked something, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and make sure you share it within your network. Got a question for Ed? Drop it within the comments. See you next time.
Please note, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any affiliated organization. The content provided is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. We encourage listeners to conduct their own research and consult with relevant professionals before making any business or career decisions.